Hey,
How you
nice to
doing,
see you,
man?
Mike. I'm great.
Good to see you.
hmm
Good, good, good. How's the
Yeah,
day treating you so far? The sun's out. That's
it's
good.
great. It's great. It was kind of rainy yesterday, and I was outside a lot of the day and soaking wet for half of it. So it's nice. Nice
Oh
to see
yeah.
that the sun's out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's sort of the beginning of fall where you're like, I gotta put all my shorts away.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad
Yeah.
about it. I'm a
it's,
little like,
it's
what,
hard.
what about my sandals?
No.
What about my
Yeah.
flip-flops?
Yeah. I can't quite yet though. I'm going to Portugal in 2 weeks. I'm
And
going
what a
away.
tremendous segue into the international stylings of musician extraordinaire John Bryant. Everybody, welcome to
Yeah.
the show. This is
Oh
Best
man.
Medicine. I am Michael Adamthwaite. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for
Yeah.
spending your time with us today. And of course, we have John Bryant on the show. Dude, I'm
Yo.
so glad you're here. What is the geography like for John Bryant? You mentioned, I mean, like hilariously, haha, I'm lamenting the summer clothes having to go away, but you're keeping all your warm weather gear out
I'm
because you're
keeping
going to
it out.
Portugal.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
going
no, oh,
to two
ow,
weeks. 2 weeks in Portugal.
ow, oh,
Yeah.
that must be devastating. I'm so
It's
sorry.
hard. It's tough.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be hard. International music sensation, soon to be rock demigod.
That's right. Yeah. Folk rock demigod.
Folk rock demigod sounds really cool. I think like there's a,
hmm
a bumper sticker in your future.
I think I gotta sell those at shows. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a merch item.
So
That's fun.
so so John Bryant is a voice actor. John Bryant is an actor. John Bryant is a singer-songwriter. John Bryant is a painter. I feel like I can't just say John. It's like when you say Madonna or Dolly Parton
Yeah,
or Michael
sure.
Jackson, right? You can't just say Arnold and everybody knows who you're talking about. No, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a two name commitment
Yeah.
to be John Bryant, jet setting around the world, man. Tell us about yourself. How did you get started, dude? What about the arts brought you to where you are, and has it? Do you think has it contributed to your well-being?
Has art contributed to my well-being over the years? Yeah, I'd say,
Yeah,
it's been a huge um asset for me in in terms of like processing everything in life. It all goes through this
yeah.
filter of art. And I've been I was fortunate enough to have the opportunities given to me at a young age, just taking art lessons and then being able, having the opportunities to sing if I wanted to sing and play piano if I wanted to play piano, which I
Now,
didn't
where'd you grow
until
up?
I grew up in Nova Scotia.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. That
East
that
Coast.
that that explains the East Coast music love and the
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the lyrical creative upbringing. That's awesome. Nova
yeah,
Scotia. Woo woo. East
yeah.
Coast.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I just I dug into everything art at quite a young age, and then just kept going with it through even the awkward stages, like in junior high when it wasn't cool to be playing piano. I still kind of stuck
What?
with it. Yeah,
You had awkward stages? I don't know how to what?
yeah. Oh yeah.
You mean you're a flawed human too?
I was yes, Michael. I had many flaws, still do. That's my wife. She's like,
Oh
yep.
man.
Uh,
Yep, shaking her head.
yeah, yeah, and so I processed all the shit in life, that comes up, and art's always been there, and to
Yeah.
this day it still surprises me and delights me.
Hmm.
So I'm just very
Yeah,
lucky to be in the position I am, doing what I'm doing. With
absolutely.
it comes with it comes with its struggle, but it's definitely worth it. You know.
Absolutely. I would say that on my very best day as an actor, I really feel like a version of whatever the sentiment that would fall in line with this is the best day ever. And I
Yeah.
feel like the more I practice just the observance of aiming for the
Hmm.
best day ever, that
Yeah.
that in and of itself pays me huge dividends. But when I'm creating and when I'm in a position where even if I have to look to the side and double check something and look to the side and double check something else, and it's like
Yeah.
it's constantly like a garden. It's never finished. You're always just kind of managing it. But
Yeah.
I also feel personally, and this is just me, I'm not speaking for anybody else, as the artist, we're sort of pre-packaged in an empathic way. We sort of feel our way through everything. And I totally echo what you're saying. You can't process those awkward stages in life as an artist without putting your art to work for you and using that healing process of
Yeah.
getting it out there. It feels it's really cathartic. I mean, I haven't painted in a number of years, but I was also an
Yeah.
art student. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the only reason I graduated. The
Mm.
vice principal of my school was a former art teacher, and he saw that I was like, like reducing my class load so that I could go paint more. And there were days
Mm.
where I would just blank out and like paint for eight
Wow.
hours, and I ended
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
getting like 110% in art placement 12. Got on the honor
That's
roll. I was
amazing.
like, woo,
Yeah.
painting. But I mean,
That's amazing.
your art really, I think, just sort of well, I mean, it blows my mind because I really love the sort of, like the color use and the shape use and it's so abstract, and it reminds me of like I want to call you like a modern day Dolly, like you're like the new Salvador
That's
Dali.
that's high praise. That's high praise. But yeah, I mean, I love abstract. I love the surrealism, like I like realism mixed with like really messed up kind of imagery. So
Mm.
I'm attracted to yeah, I'm attracted to vibrancy and like realism, but mixed with this like trippy kind of abstract uh elements that you can kind of throw into realism. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's fun, man. Yeah.
I feel like your music and your art together offers this really amazing, like you mentioned, it was raining yesterday, and it
Yeah.
was like pretty dark, but it offers together, for me anyway, as a listening experience. It's like that perfect rainy day song. Of course, I'm particularly talking about I Want to Die in LA, which is
Oh yeah.
I think it's my anthem for this year, although the message verbatim does not necessarily, apply, because I love your TikTok, by the way. Hey
Thank you.
Siri, how much does it cost to die in LA? Yeah,
Oh
fiscally,
yeah, I
it might
forgot I
not be
made that.
responsible.
Hmm.
It might not be responsible to aim for that, but yeah, it was just it's such an amazing song. And yeah, rainy day vibes. If you are looking for a song out there, any of you in the
Hmm.
viewership land, go ahead and look up my friend John Bryant, and I Want to Die in LA, and it's going to put
Yeah.
a smile on your face or maybe a tear on your cheek. Is there a story there? I know there's a story with most songs, but I feel like with you, there's something there. Tell me about it.
Yeah, with the song I Want to Die in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to LA. The first time I ever went was when I was about 14, 13 or 14. I went and visited my
That's
cousin.
early.
Yeah, and I just fell in love with California in general, and I spent a week there and just I went surfing. I met all of his friends. I kind of any and then from then on, any opportunity to go LA to LA, I would just take. If it was so. This is just a kind of a funny story. Like this dude I met in high school. He if he was one of those people that I didn't really know very well, but he was like, "Hey, you should come to LA," like just out of nowhere for Christmas. I was like, or for like right before Christmas. I'm just thinking about this now because I barely knew the guy, but I was like, yeah, I'll go. I'll go to
Okay.
California for sure. Sign me up. Barely knew the guy. He actually had a kind of a checkered past, so I was like, am I gonna get in trouble for be, as a Canadian, like I was 18
Like,
too.
should I be with you
Should
in
I be with you?
public?
Are you, the things you sell, are these illicit substances legal here? I had no, I knew, and I was
Right.
like, I should probably find better ways to get to LA. He was a nice guy, but it was just funny to think about, like, I would do anything to go to LA.
Wow,
And
including
that started
almost doing
be,
crimes.
becoming,
I would
yeah,
all
becoming a drug dealer with him. That's so funny to think about. But
Wow.
yeah, I've always had a good time. And then I started going for writing sessions in 2016, and that just sort of like, it sort of just made me even more drawn to the idea, I think, of LA, which is like, it's the central hub. It's like this spiritual sort of mecca for creative
Mm.
living, creative doing, and yeah, it's everything that I think an artist could want. It comes with its caveats and the
Of
bullshit,
course,
but
yeah. There's a lot of, let's just say, air quotes, interesting things coming out of
yeah,
Hollywood all the time. I think
yeah,
that's a fairly broad enough statement that's also vague where it's still accurate. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting things coming out of Hollywood. What do you think the draw is? Because I've read some interesting things about blue zones. I don't know if you're familiar. Basically, it's like, it just
Yeah,
dumbing it down for me. It's like a hub of electrical energy of sorts that just sort of comes together in one geographical place. And yeah, I've heard that
yeah,
there's quite a few quote blue zones in the state of California. And you
yeah.
think people are drawn to the energy? Do you think
I
the
think so.
energy sort of creates its own sort of, this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I was just in Venice last week, and uh, in LA, and I was just taking note of, like, the people and the vibe, the energy that people give me is just very, very welcoming. Similar to, like, I remember when you invited me to your place, you were just so welcoming and inviting, and wanted to just like talk and like connect, and that's what I get in LA, is like that kind of a
Mm.
relationship with people, and it's harder to find in cities. I find Vancouver to be a bit of that here and there, but it's not to the degree that you'll find in LA, because I think there's just such a higher concentration, or a higher percentage of artists and creatives and people that just want to
Yeah,
connect.
Vancouver is, I think, I think, I don't want to say being outed, but I mean, there's a lot of commentary on how difficult it is to make friends in Vancouver, to have any kind of like, social support network and things. It's sort of, the sentiment has become like it's getting harder to make friends.
Yeah,
And yeah, maybe there's a way to address that. I don't know. Maybe we should start like a John Bryant smile campaign. We just walk down the
I
road singing, smiling. Maybe change the vibe.
oh man, I've yeah. It's funny. I live close to a Denny's, and they have an open mic.
Shout out to my 2 a.m. friend when I was dressed like a young guy.
Come on, let's go, Denny's. It's a
Denny's.
classic, and
Yeah.
it kind of it mixes all my favorite foods with. Now they're doing music. They're doing open mics at this Denny's, and I'm like, should I like
No way.
go and see if they
What?
want like someone to host it? I don't know if they might even have a host, but like, I've
That's
always had this.
amazing.
I've had this dream or this fantasy that, like, I start an open mic, and then all these singer songwriters come out of the woodworks, like the Avengers assembling. We're
Yes.
we're
I think that
conquering.
would be an amazing that would be an amazing concert concept.
Hmm.
I feel like it sort of aligns itself to very much with what we're doing with Best Medicine November 12th. We're going to be at the Chilliwack Cultural Center. It's a
Oh,
comedy
amazing.
show to benefit health and wellness and to promote awareness for PTSD and people, especially first responders, people who
Yeah.
work in the armed services industry, people in the medical field, and just trying to show our support primarily for them because, of course, laughter is the best medicine. If we sort of break down a few old adages and feelings, there's something about laughs There's something about
Yeah.
getting together. I would absolutely hold music on the same pedestal. There's something about music that unites us, it connects us, it brings us
Yeah.
together as humans. And I mean, I don't know how many people have experienced a drum circle or something like that that is both primitive and musical, and it transcends all language, but you can't help
Mhm.
it. That reptile brain gets going. You get a little goosebumps, like your heart starts
Yeah.
beating. It's like, woo, music. My body knows this, there's an
Yeah.
animal part to it.
Yeah, that Wreck Beach Saturday night around 9 p.m. in the summer is just like, oh,
Yes.
this is where human beings are meant to like connect. And this has been done for thousands of years, and we're just carrying on that tradition. It's like
Yeah.
that kind of level is fun
It,
to
it is
fun to
it
be
is
there.
it is primitive. It is
Yeah.
primitive, and it is very animal. And I like that a lot of people have been, at least from what I'm seeing and experiencing in all these chats and radio checks with friends and
Yeah.
strangers and philanthropists and people helping out in their community, real champions of their own right. But
Mhm.
people, I think, are starting to bow out of what they used to feel obligated to do. And I feel like more people are converting their energy into that health, like self-help type energy. It was very big in the 90s. You go get a
Yeah.
self-help book, right? When we were younger, that's what everybody did. But now it's like I'm actually practicing my self-care in a way
Yeah.
that's not as commercial as just going to get a book and reading it at a coffee shop and hoping to start a conversation with someone randomly because they have the same book. It's like, oh, I see
Yeah.
your struggle. There's a book. It's a
Yeah.
tome. It signifies that you're in the same club as me. We should be in a book club. It's like there was so much commercialization of
Yeah.
healing when we were younger. I feel
Hmm.
anyway. I was born in 81. So, like
Yeah. Yeah.
1981, so
81. Yes.
so long ago. But I mean, like,
Yes.
where was the mental health and health and wellness, all the verbiage, all the labels, all the communication tools that like we didn't have? We were sort of,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe the generation East Coast, West Coast might be a little bit different, but it was very much a suck it up kind of
Yeah.
generation.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
now
You
now that we have all these tools, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're living in this very cool time where the spread of information on mental health and physical health and nutritional health, all of that is accessible. Like I'm kind
Yeah,
of obsessed with it. I want to optimize everything in
dude.
my life.
Be
It's
obsessed with yourself. Oh my goodness, what a concept. Didn't
right.
why didn't they teach that in school? Why wasn't there a class that was like, hey, here's a few things that you might want to watch out for. Um, Good sleep.
Yeah, it's as
If
simple
you're
as
not
that.
getting it, do something. Water, hey, really
Yeah.
important. And just have like a lot of like normal reminders as
Well,
opposed to like, okay, you have to learn this mathematical equation.
yeah. It's funny. I think about this a lot. Like, why am I the way I am? Because there's a part of me that
Uh,
feels like I shouldn't be like not obsessed is maybe that's the right word. I don't know, but just to be like cognizant and
Passionately concerned.
passionately concerned with your well-being. There's a part of me that because I grew up in a church environment as a kid, I was always told to focus on not on yourself and not and kind of throw like die to yourself was kind of the idea, but
Mm.
to only focus on others and always be of service and always be giving of yourself to others, I guess to the detriment of your own health. And I saw
And
people
that
burn
was
out.
and that was sort of almost a subtextual energy that you picked up on early. Like, I feel like I'm gonna have to sacrifice a
Yeah.
lot in order to be this kind of person.
Yeah, yeah, and made to feel bad for taking care of your like to feel bad for saying
Yeah,
like, no, I can't help you today. I just
yeah.
can't do it. Like
Exactly. And
that kind of
pardon me
thing.
for asking, are you someone who's also finding themselves on the neurodivergent ADHD ADD spectrum? Was that ever part of your medical journey?
Yeah, my I think my whole family has ADHD to some degree. Our family
Mm,
doctor, he said you all have it to some degree, and
Hmm.
yeah, but
Yeah.
and they you know in public school they tried to give us, or the private school we went to for 2 years, they tried to give us Ritalin, and then we were just like, this isn't right. They were like trying, like the teachers were trying to push it on all the parents to give us all Ritalin, to get us
That
on
was a
these
big thing
prescription drugs.
at my school too. I remember it being a
Yeah,
big conversation, sort of like at our little hangout spot. It
yeah.
was just like, hey man, like, who's on the pills today? And everyone would laugh, and a couple people would
Yeah,
like empty a pill out of their pocket and like chuck it in the dirt. You know, it's like,
yeah, yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
there's some pretty immense, I would say, friction around that sentiment that like you're
Hmm.
only you at your best if you take this pill. But there was no follow through, there was no
Yeah,
education. I didn't feel like a lot of people were taking, you know, medication such as Ritalin and also doing therapy to understand why maybe this chemical was missing in their brain, or they're
yeah,
neurologically different, or you know, you have a, I mean, we have we have 4 children, and of
yeah.
course, you know, it's sort of genetic. And of course, you know, our eldest, who is at university right now, hi Ireland, hi, daddy
Yeah.
says hi. You know, she's neurodivergent as well. And of course, you know, there's those early stage years where we talk about awkward times and things are, you know,
Mhm.
difficult, and you know, maybe the kids at school aren't very nice. But
Yeah,
we took the opportunity to sort of, you know, have our own conversation about it and say those people's minds might actually be made for the past. Your
yeah.
mind, I'm pretty sure, is engineered for the future. So maybe don't
Mhm.
worry about people's impressions so much. And I think that we've taken that opportunity, and I think that we've made that sort of like just one of the things in our house, you know, that like you're not different in a bad way.
Yeah.
Your superpower hasn't totally developed yet, you know.
Yeah,
So
the
I
world
mean,
hasn't caught up to you yet. I mean,
exactly.
you're that's a very cool way to look at it, because yeah, that's the way we should look at it. Yeah, the world just
I
hasn't figured out how to like
Yeah.
adjust to the way that the new generation of kids are thinking, really.
I
Yeah.
I, I almost want to
Mm.
call it I almost want to call it unbridled potential. You know, like
Mhm.
if we just take the reins off of
Yeah.
something that, or someone that we deem as, you know, like I don't know, they I don't know, they're unpredictable, they're rash, they're impetuous, the you know, I
Yeah.
feel like all this 11th hour energy is going to bite someone in the butt. It's, well, that's maybe going to happen. Who knows? Maybe let's just take the
Mhm.
reins off and see. How did education and art, you know, formulate this idea around making your art your business? Having seen LA, having come
Yeah.
from Nova Scotia, traveling
Yeah.
to Portugal.
Yeah. How did how did it become that like where was the shift in thinking of like music is not
Yeah.
just a hobby but maybe a job?
Yeah, and I mean,
Or
mostly because it's probably, I would say, you know, among the top 3 most courageous things we do as humans is decide how to, you know, live in this little slice of existence. You know, how
yeah.
are we going to fund this and support ourselves?
Yeah. Well, I remember exactly where I was when that idea kind of became a bit of a reality. I was in art school. I was going to NASCAD, the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design. I was in my final year, and I had just recorded an EP, and that became an album eventually. But released the album on Apple Music. Spotify did not exist. It was 2009. I got a
Whoa.
call from my friend who said, "Hey, your song 'Death' has been chosen to be the iTunes single of the week, Starbucks single of the week." So the yeah, so that you know,
Whoa.
I went out. It was like one of those moments where I went outside, stood on the street, and I just like jumped for joy. Like I didn't know
Yeah.
what I had no idea that was coming. I just did this album as a hobby project. It was an art project.
Wow.
So I wanted to design an art cover, like illustrate and design an art, like an album cover. Sorry. And so when I put the music to it. I actually made the album as a hobby in an art school project, and then And then Apple called, and then I realized,
Wow,
oh,
bro.
this could be something
Talk
bigger
about
than I
being
thought it was.
anointed.
Yeah.
In the same day, it's like Apple goes,
Mm-hmm.
"You're Jon Bryant," and then Starbucks goes, "Yeah, thanks, Apple. We liked him first. Thank you,
He's ours.
thank you. He's
Yeah.
ours." And then, but Apple's like, we have Jon Bryant. Starbucks is like, we just said that. What a
I love
great
that.
day, dude. Yeah,
It was
no,
a great day.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine that was pretty close to best day ever at the time. Where
Honestly,
did it go from there?
yeah.
What a huge like launching pad.
Well, I was just kind of thrown into a bit of a career, because then I had all these people writing me. They were downloading it. It got downloaded 60 some thousand times, I was told,
Yo.
across Canada. So I got messages from all these people across the country saying, when are you playing in Kamloops? When are you playing in
Oh my
Winnipeg,
gosh.
or Aurelia, Ontario,
Be like,
so
I'm
I just
sorry,
started.
Aurelia, Ontario. I have anxiety. I'll get to you
Yeah,
as soon as I
yeah,
can.
I'll do my best.
I don't
But
even have a road manager.
yeah, I didn't. I had nothing. I had no idea what a road manager was. I didn't know what their
Well,
job
you didn't
was.
have
I was
nothing,
the road
Jon
manager.
Bryant.
I
You
didn't have
had
nothing.
everything.
I had
And
everything.
you needed a team.
I needed the team and the experience, and so I teamed up with this other singer songwriter from Montreal, and we did a tour across Canada in 2010, and that sort of like started it all for me. And I actually dropped out of my last semester of school to do the tour, and finished it
Nice.
later on in the summer. But in the fall, rather. I think it was the fall when I finally finished. But yeah, I like delayed my education to do the tour, and thank God, thank God I did. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I've been,
dude, that's tremendous. And
yeah.
when did voiceover start popping up for you?
Hmm.
Because for everyone watching who doesn't know, Jon and I got to work on a very, very cool project together. Why don't you tell us the story about how you ended up working in
On our little
video
project, on our little
our
video game.
our our little video game.
Man,
How'd that happen?
that's a funny one too. That's another one where I got the audition, I looked at it, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wing it. Because the other thing was, I had just come back from a camping trip the day of, and it was due later that night. So I had like 2 hours to learn 3 pages. So I couldn't learn the pages. I just put the pages on a little platform, and I just read them. And I went over the top. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna get this. This is silly. I'm not gonna get this. And I was just going. I was doing a lot more than what my character demanded. But Steve loved it, the director of Resident Evil Remake 4. Um, and man, he just liked the energy and the vibe. So it was one
Can
of
you
those
can you give us just like a little taste
of Mendez.
of
Oh,
Mr. Mendes?
Mr. Mendez. Your blood. Yeah, no, is it? Your blood has accepted the gift. What's another one?
Ooh, that's a great line.
Yeah, there's all sorts of good little wonders he does.
And of course for anyone who doesn't know the franchise very well, you can go check it out. There's
Mhm.
there's a lot of content in the Resident Evil universe, of course, but you also sang, did
Yeah,
you not?
sang
What was that like?
in Resident Evil 4,
Yeah,
or just sang.
like just
Well, I
like
sang a.
was it like a little nerve wracking? It was singing
Oh yeah.
on a video game. You're like, well, if I think about how many people are going to buy this, like a lot of
Yeah,
people are going to hear my voice, a lot of people are going to hear me sing.
yeah, yeah. And I
Oh,
sang.
dude,
I made up. It's funny. I remember making up this song when we all got together. That the day it came out, I
that's
sang
right.
this like Mendez song. It was just, that's, yeah. I just
right
I
off
can't
the
remember
top
what it
of
was.
right off the top
I
of the
mean,
day, I remember you know, we had sort of just arrived, and I remember vaguely that you know, there was that sort of last second request, like, hey, is there anything you can come up with, like just like a Mendez song? Then you're like, yeah, and then you just diligently went, sat down, and like made it happen.
wrote it in 5
Like
minutes. I was like,
wrote it in
my
five
name is
minutes.
Vitores
Boris
Mendez.
Mendez. I do
I
whatever
do every
that.
toddler says.
It was great. That was a wonderful time. That was a great
Yeah,
experience.
so
Of course,
fun,
you
man.
know, yeah, video games and voiceover and mocap and all these
Yeah,
things. I mean, I still feel like as a part of the process, I feel like I'm just contributing like a dash of the magic. But I mean, the music, like you are the message and the magic. You become your own movement. You're all over the, you know, North American continent, and of course Europe now as well.
yeah,
What is the next 2 years? Everyone's like, what's your 5 year plan? I'm like, I have ADHD. I cannot think that far ahead. I
yeah.
have to
It's too
break it
far.
down into like a smaller
Yeah,
number, you know, like
yeah.
two, you know, like 2 years. And then really that's only 24 months, right? I
I
mean, it sort of all takes care of itself. What does the next two
yeah.
years look like for you? I know you've been, you know, in touch with Dolly Parton's people about some collaborative stuff. And I
Mhm.
know that you've got some interesting things, obviously taking you to Portugal. What does the next 2 years look like, man?
Well, I'm working on. Well, I finished a record, and so I'm currently kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm you know, every month I'll be promoting singles until the record comes out in February of 2025. At which point I presume I'll start touring Europe in February, March 2025, and hopefully into the later months of the year, I'll be trucking around the country and the world, you know, playing Canada, the US, Australia, Europe. Hopefully acting too, you know, it'll be tough with all the touring, but I'd love to just keep voice acting and acting and
Absolutely. I
staying
mean, you
busy
must
with
have
that.
so much travel tech for the road. I bet
Mhm.
you can continue to be competitive wherever you are.
Yeah,
And obviously songwriting on the road and, you know,
yeah,
producing tracks. That's
yeah,
amazing, man.
that's
I'm
yeah.
gobsmacked. I'm so excited for you. That's
Thanks, man.
awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. I feel that. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for like this next album, and then the album that comes after that. I'm currently writing that, and that's part of why I'm going to Portugal is to kind of flesh out the next iteration or the next batch of songs, and try to pull something together for my yeah, for the record that comes after this next one. So
Now, how much
it's
of what I mean, okay, first of all, let me say this. Where can people listen to you today?
all over, you know, Spotify and YouTube and Apple. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
I'm gonna make sure that we embed all those links for people. But going
amazing.
forward, about the music that you're creating, you're going away to Portugal. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna get like offended if you don't call the record Portugal, but
Yeah,
great name. Just thinking.
it's pretty good. Yeah.
How much of what you're about to write how much of what you're about to write would you say is going to encompass the last like 7 years of what I'm just lovingly trying to refer to as worldly human challenge?
The
Is there a
last
lot
7 years.
reflection? Yeah, COVID, and then
Yeah.
these many years of strikes on and off
Hmm.
as actors. You know, it's been it
Yeah.
like I said. I mean, I feel like it started in like 2017, 2018.
2018. Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah.
yeah, like
It's I'll say this, you know, going yeah, having 2018 be 2018, 2019 being my best years of music, and then to be and then having things start to like pick up really in beginning of 2020, best tour in Canada I've ever had, and then had a Europe tour planned for April. Having everything sort of like halt like that
yeah.
was absolutely just devastating. emotionally. And
Yeah.
it was a very hard time. And yeah, we all went through it. And especially as artists, we just like, what is our future now? What's coming for the next, few years? And then seeing like COVID and how detrimental like lockdowns were for our mental health and for
Yeah.
touring and for, yeah. And then to be followed by the strike, the actor strike last year. And yeah, it was just a very difficult and trying time, but we have to look to the future to be bright, and we have to continue to like shine a light on the positive elements of what our lives are, and where they're going. And I don't know, I have to focus on that. I have to focus on the positive, because I could get so easily just bogged down
Oh
by
yeah.
all the bad
Yeah.
news. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like in a lot of ways you can look out the window and see that the fog is lifting. But if you don't look out the window, and if you don't clean the window, and if you don't go outside, there's sort
Yeah.
of eventually becomes a bit of a breakdown of the feeling.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, interestingly enough, I discovered that there was a word for this. It was like a PSA campaign, and the word is
Hmm.
biophilia, and it describes the connection that humans feel to nature. And they're
Oh.
discovering that some younger generations are being sort of tested, and they are seeing that they don't really have that connectivity. There's no measurable feeling of
Oh.
biophilia in these younger generations, and it just sort of it feels so counterintuitive to say we had to isolate for our health,
Yeah.
but knowing that isolation would impact health so negatively, is it just it feels so backward. But
Oh
obviously,
yeah.
being on the other side of it and feeling the fog lifting, feeling the sun come out, feeling everything clear,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. The future is bright. If we have that best day ever idea in our heads, if we look at
Yeah.
everything as just, hey, one more 24,
Yeah.
one more day, just show up and do the work, right? Try
Yeah.
to become what we have to you know to shine,
Yeah.
because you
That.
shine right now, man. You do. Honestly, I look at all your socials, and I'm just so excited, and hearing you
Uh,
confirm all of these dates and these, like your 2 year rollout is just, oh God, I'm giddy
yeah.
for you, man. It's so exciting.
I'm hopeful, and I go through waves of like, this is it going to be good, and doubting and all that. But I wrote it today, and you just said it, like you just like like a wizard. You just pulled the words, like, and what I wrote in my journal was like do the work. You just have to show up every day and do the work,
Yeah.
and just be consistent with the work. Every day I have to show up at this desk at 9 a.m. or whatever time, and just like, and start playing music, or get to whatever work I need to get done, but just like show up every day. Like, how do you
Yeah.
get there? You just sit down and you grab the
Yeah.
pen or you grab the guitar. Just
Yeah.
that, start there.
I
Um,
feel like if every person who arrived to work and arrived to the sound of applause,
yeah.
how huge would that be if you walked in, whether you're wearing a hard hat and high vis, or you're carrying a briefcase, or you're delivering coffees or food? Like, if you showed up and people just applauded for you,
Mm.
how much more would you show up? I
Dude.
feel like I'd show up 10 times more just to be like, I'm sorry, I am not denying how much I'm enjoying this moment. I,
Oh
I
yeah.
just like, people are just clapping, like, I mean, like, silly as it sounds, I feel like applause is healing in its way. And
Hmm.
I'm applauding you, my friend.
Hey.
You've done so much in such a challenging time. Human history will, I think, look on this period as particularly difficult. But yeah, I
Hmm.
applaud you for very selfish personal reasons. I've probably listened to I Want to Die in LA maybe 500 times.
That's
maybe more.
amazing.
And
That's
there were days
amazing.
where I was like, dude, I just need to get up. I need to make myself a warm, comforting beverage to line up next to my fizzy beverage and my other clear water cold beverage and my other
Yeah,
beverage that just
yeah.
has like
My electrolyte
sustenance in it.
beverage. Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
all of the beverages, and I just need to put on John Bryant music and maybe
Mm,
work my way up to a bowl of cereal and start my day and just say best day ever. So
that
I
yeah.
thank you for that contribution to my life, which you did not do for me, but indirectly, I'm gonna put that in my
I
pocket.
I did, you know, I did it. I did it for, yeah, I did it for you though. The people that, because when I was writing that song, I was like, I love the idea of LA. I just want to die in that. I want to be put in the earth in a place where I was using my gifts and talents and contributing and then like there was just like give and take of like creative energy. Like I want that to be where I live and to be where I end up dying. You know, like I want to be in that energy no matter what. So
It's
it was
such a
for the people that connected with that sort of idea, like people like you and people that have this, that we have this dream of just like making people feel like, we just want people to feel and to
yeah,
connect on that on some level, whatever that is, whether it be, you
yeah,
know, what media, music, art, uh, filmmaking. It's just like we just want to connect with people and we want them to feel things like
yeah,
and yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There's such best in it.
It's almost like, you know, like you say, living in that ecstasy of creation and then dying in that
Mhm.
same place, because where else would I want to go?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful, man. That's
Yeah,
so
my soul's been
beautiful.
here this whole time. I'll just stay here, I guess, you know. Like,
Yeah,
even
exactly.
after
Like,
I'm
I'm a
gone.
shareholder in the universe. I just changed shape. I don't have an address anymore, but you can still visit me anytime you want. So
Mm,
here's the question that I wanted to ask you to sort of wind things down.
mhm.
If technology persists, and if everything as we know technologically to be quote unquote recorded in one various way or another, 1,000 years from now, everyone using their, you know, free will to search John Bryant, what would you want them to stumble across first?
Of who, of my, of me,
Of
my
you,
essence,
your
my
music, your
spirit.
essence? Presuming
Um,
you haven't been brought back as a head in a jar to
that's right.
teach us all from a library.
uh, that's a great question. What would I want them to stumble across? Um, you know, there's the first thing that popped in my mind, and this is just, you know, I think there's a video of me and my brother and my dad singing on stage,
Oh, oh man, my heart.
and
Oh,
and yeah, I would just want that to, you know, in terms of like my music, I would want them to see that, because that's kind of, those were the big influences for me. Those were the people that encouraged me. I was very fortunate to, my dad is a gospel singer, so
mm,
that that being in the house, the music always being on and people singing was always so encouraged, and I felt very lucky. So I think that, yeah, that would be the, there's a video of us singing a Christmas song in like 2013. There's a bunch of them, but there's one from
yeah.
2013 that for some reason just feels very special to me. So yeah,
Oh man, that warms my heart. That's gonna leave a smile on me all day. That's
cool.
tremendous, man. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, of
That's
course, man.
awesome,
Hey,
dude.
you're all this, you're showering me with love, and I love it and I appreciate it. But I have to say, man, you're one of the most like lovely, caring, considerate, and encouraging people I've ever come across. Like you're fascinating, and I'm so
Ah,
lucky that I get to have a friend like you in my life. So
thank you,
yeah,
John.
yeah.
You're tremendously kind to me, and of course, my judge immediately tells me I'm not worthy of praise, but I'm gonna tell him STFU and sit down at the back. And
That's
I'm
right.
just gonna, I'm
You
gonna
send
say
him.
thank you.
Yeah,
I'm just
good.
gonna say thank you, which I'm learning to do also. Taking a compliment is
Yeah,
challenging for me, but I'm learning that saying thank you and saying you're welcome and
yeah,
using the very basic golden rule that my mother imparted to me: treat people how you want to be treated, and life
yeah,
will deliver you an amazing existence. I really feel it. So, thank you
yeah.
so much
Good.
for being here. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity for me to radio check with my friend and just
This is great.
get all the info and get some thumb on the pulse time with our good
Yeah.
friend John Bryant. Please, please, please go John Bryant yourself with some music. Familiarize yourself with I think yeah, the one of the many musical wonders of our future. I'm excited for you, John. Thank you for being here, and yeah,
My
thank you all
pleasure.
for spending time with us. I
Yeah.
look forward to our next time together.
Yeah, me
Thanks, my
too.
friend.
Can't wait.
In the middle of the afterburn, I'm too scared to watch the tape.